I want to talk briefly about why post cancer you may feel more anxious than you did during the treatment. Obviously, you're definitely more anxious than you were before everything. So it's interesting, right? So during treatment, you have all of these timelines and structures in which to live. And you are under the assumption as long as you do X, Y, and Z, everything, you're going to have a guaranteed outcome. And there's always something in the back of your mind that says, like, that may not be, but you focus on, just doing the execution part. So once treatment is over and the calls stop, the calendar gets quiet, you go back to your life and they hand it over to you, right? And not only do you get your life back, you get it back with a whole slew of new side effects, potential complications, and trauma. And I don't use the word trauma lightly because it is trauma, even if you don't think of it in that way. So you have to now deal with the aftermath and the fallout of all of the treatments. So if you've gone through chemo, you are now most likely in medically induced menopause. You're dealing with hot flashes. If you're on Lupron, you're dealing with the fun that entails of a monthly shot in your butt and the issues that come potentially with that. And now you're trying to assimilate back into your life the life that you chose prior. Maybe, you drank and now you no longer drink because, you decided that that's no longer for you. So now you're navigating all of these new social situations, trying to be who you were, but you no longer are. You are now trying to really enforce and integrate healthy life choices and decisions that make you feel more comfortable. And the farther away that you get from treatment, the more that people around you tend to forget. And they think, oh, if she's good, it's over. Now you get to go back to your life. Everything's amazing. Oh, you got a boob job, blah, blah, blah. And I know that most people mean well when they say things like that, but I loved my boobs before this, and I would have never gotten a boob job. So saying that I got a free boob job ain't it. And it has nothing to do with breast augmentation. They actually remove every single piece of anatomy inside the skin. They actually took my nipple and took part of my skin. So there's nothing like, breast augmentation. They then sealed me up, put in an empty expander, and then expanded that skin to create, because this looks like a boob, but it is not. It is a newly created boob that they created out of skin by stretching it into a shape, which is 100% amazing. Surgeons are amazing, science is amazing, but to tell someone that, oh, it's amazing, you got a free boob job, ain't it? And I was very blessed that my surgery and my reconstruction came out the way that it did. Not everyone has a wonderful, experience. And not everyone is able, to accept it the way. I remember when I was told I was to get a mastectomy only on the one side, I literally, in my mind, was spiraling, thinking, like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, how do I explain to my future partner, my future husband, that, I have one fake boob, one real boob? And then when I woke up and learned that I didn't have a nipple, how do I explain to anyone that I'm intimate with that I have one nipple, and like, do I make a joke about it? Do I like say it before, like in foreplay, or do I like just say nothing and then like hopefully they don't freak out? So there's like all of these things that I have to mitigate that I never had to mitigate before, that I never even had to think about mitigating before. So there's that, right? So then there's now a new anxiety or worry around dating that I didn't have before. And then you always have this like fear and worry of reoccurrence. So I'm constantly obsessed with, not constant, but at times obsessed with, what do I think caused it? And then in my current environment, what do I need to get rid of to potentially like down my, my reoccurrence risk? And like the more you research, the more like there's just sometimes there's like you can do everything and it could, and like it just doesn't matter, right? Like you have to live. So there's a point in your life where you have to go, this is what I want to make me happy, so this is what I'm going to do, right? For me, I don't drink alcohol because it's just, for me, I just don't want it. And I have other friends that have gone through breast cancer. For them, they do that. And I love that for them, because at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you happy, because this is it, right? This is the life that we get. So you're navigating all of that. Then you're navigating the medication that they give you to either kill estrogen in your body, which I was on that first. It did not go very well at all. I felt like alien, disconnected from my body, disconnected from my emotions. Oh, sure, I was laughing and smiling, but because I'm an intelligent human being and I know when I should laugh and when I should smile, and I can read social cues. And like that sounds terrifying to say, but that's what a good chunk of my, post chemo, post radiation recovery was me just going inside. It's like when someone types something, texts you on the thing, and you go LOL, but really you're just typing LOL. That was me. I'd go LOL, literally dead inside. So stop that medication, because I decided that I'd rather be dead than dead inside. I wanted quality of life. So now I'm on tamoxifen, and it's going well. I definitely prefer it for me over the exemestane and the Lupron. I got my cycle back, and like that was really a relief for me, because I didn't know if the medically induced menopause was true, if like my fertility was over. The doctor said it probably was. Thanks, praise be to God, that doctors are not God and they do not speak over me, and that I do have my period, and I would assume that I can get pregnant if and when, but not on tamoxifen, because you can't do that. I was just happy to get that feeling back, and I also got like my libido back, and like I haven't had sex yet because all the other things I said before, and also now who I am, I don't want anyone to touch me unless like I love them and I'm into it, right? So I'm really just being intentional. The next person I do the do with will be like my husband. Otherwise, I'm just not interested in the energetic cords and the exchange and all of that. I've done so much work and my energy is so clean. I just don't want it dirty. So all of the things for me that were negative with the exemestane and the Lupron, the vaginal dryness, the low to like zero interest in sex, all went away. So there was a period where I took nothing, which was risky, according to medical doctors, and I'm not implying that anyone do that. But I just needed a break from everything, and I needed to feel again, and it was amazing. And when I went back on medication, which for me is the tamoxifen, I still feel and I still have all those cravings, and that's what I wanted. I'm a woman, right? I want to feel and be a woman. I don't want to be some muted person. So all of this, to say, because I try to keep these videos on the shorter side, is that there's so much, going on, that you're just trying to get back to your life, and you just see all of the hills that I said, not even hills, mountains that you have to scale just to get back over where you think you want to be, where you think life is, only to kind of get there. And like myself, like I was just like, I tore apart my apartment, I took art down, took photos down, redid everything. And I probably honestly would have moved away out of New York City if there was a place that I could have thought that I wanted to be better, but there wasn't. So I decided, let's not be rash, let's just travel. We can travel, but stay home. And and like my career, I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore, and I do what I do, and I do it well because I believe in integrity. I show up every day, I do my job, but I don't want to do that anymore. And I want to find work that is more aligned with who I am. I want purposeful work. And one could argue that I'm about to be 41, that I was always going to potentially want to change jobs anyway, because who does the same thing for like decades. Some people do. I don't know. I don't think it's meant for me. So what I'm leaning into to now is coaching women in the aftermath of their breast cancer, helping guide them, helping them find alignment, and helping them, get through these really difficult and dark times and like moments, because unless you've been through it, it's really hard. Like, I had therapy and therapists through all of my treatments, and 100% in theory, they're fantastic, amazing human beings, not literally nothing negative to say, but there's just some things that just don't translate because they don't get it. They haven't lived it, so they just don't know. And there's something to be said to connect with someone who understands, like, where there's no words needed. I can just go, girl, or I'll just start sweating because I have a hot flash and they'll know, right? So I just think it's so important to have advocates and support and other women who are in it with you, and in the moments where you can't be strong or you're like, what is going on, for someone to stand there and hold space for you, and to put their arms around you and go, I got you, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna get through this, and I'm gonna be there with you until you get to the other side, until you figure it out. So that's really where my heart is calling me to go and to be. And so that's honestly what I'm doing. I'm ramping up my videos, ramping up everything, because like, this is what I want to do. It's what I'm meant to do, and I'm gonna do it. Damn it, I'm doing it now. So it's just really hard, and I want anyone to know that like, what you're going through is normal, and I think we need to normalize it more. That like, post cancer is a whole nother fucking world that no one tells you about, right? I remember asking my oncologist after all the treatment, and this was in the beginning. In the beginning, they never fucking tell you how long it's actually gonna fucking take. Like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, I have breast cancer, I'll be done this in 6 months, and I'll be back to my life in a year, whatever. It's like a blip, nothing. 2 years later, right? My last surgery will be a year in June. So it's and thank God they didn't tell me, because I probably would have jumped off a bridge. If they told me, well, in 2 to 3 years you'll be kind of back to normal, and then like, the kind of back to normal isn't even normal, right? Like, I don't have a boob, I don't have a nipple. I do have a boob, I'm very thankful for my boob, but you understand what I mean. Like, so I have to deal with that, and luckily I'm doing well with it. When I first learned I was gonna have a mastectomy, I did book a trip. I left the country for about a week. And I just sat with myself, took a lot of photos of the boob, because I was like, I don't know that I'll look at them, but I kind of like, I need that for myself. And then I came back and I said, let's do it. And I've been really positive ever since. I feel, now that I'm out of chemo, and I feel beautiful now. There was a period of time where I didn't feel beautiful. I looked in the mirror and I was just like, that's me, but like, she's not pretty, and I've never really had a time where I didn't think I was pretty. So that, it sounds vain and rough, but I mean, this is the reality of it. These are things that women really struggle with. And yeah, and physicality, not being able to push as far as I could before. And it's not because I can't, I most likely can. I'm just afraid to discover that chemo really fucked up my heart. And I don't want to learn that way. So I push until I'm like, that's enough. Where the old me would have pushed until, I don't know, to the pushed it to the edge. So you're not alone. You're not crazy. It's all so fucked and insane, and you don't know who to believe. Does sugar feed cancer? Does sugar not feed cancer? If sugar doesn't feed cancer, then why do they feed you what they feed you for the PET scan, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, what I've learned is, you just have to have discernment for yourself and choose what works best for you and what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to live with your choices. So that's how I move through the world, and that's how I choose my choices, right? I think that's all I should say about that. You have to choose what's best for you, because you are the one that has to live with your choices in the end. You're the one that has to wake up and, deal with, the side effects or whatever it may be. So thanks for coming here and listening to My random videos, I hope they're not so random. I hope that they're finding someone and helping.